Nintendo.
It's GameCube Index, and we're about to become perpetually guilty for abandoning our loved ones. Dobutsu no Mori Plus, I'm sorry, you probably know it better as Animal Crossing, was released in Japan at the end of 2001, roughly 8 months after it was released the first time on the Nintendo 64. A self-proclaimed communication game, the player takes on the role of a human who moves out of their parents' house into a new and exciting village. Turns out, the player character is the only human, as the entire village is inhabited by humanoid animals. There's the standard cast, including Tom Nook, a raccoon shopkeeper, Tortimer, an aged tortoise who is also the mayor, Mabel and Sable, hedgehog seamstresses who sell clothing, and many more. There's also a randomized batch of villagers who inhabit the town who may move out or move in at any time, keeping the town fresh and exciting. When you start your game, you are a poor individual with only a few dollars to their name and no belongings without a home to stay in. Tom Nook takes pity on you and allows you to pay off your home, and the game's tutorial involves working at a shop, learning how to use a town map, sending mail to villagers, and running errands for your neighbors. By talking to your neighbors, you can complete tasks and trade furniture and clothing, as well as earn money to buy items and pay off your home loan. You can also use the resources of the land by selling the fruit that grows on trees, fishing, catching bugs, or even just picking up shells on the beach. The town museum is even available, so you can donate fossils, fish, bugs, or paintings, and bring some culture to your tiny village. By filling up the museum, you are also awarded with better equipment in the game. Animal Crossing uses the GameCube's internal clock to align the in-game time, meaning if it's 3 p.m. in your real town, it's 3 p.m. in your Animal Crossing town. There are certain events tied to certain times, such as some fish only appearing at night or in November. Thanks to the clock, all 4 seasons exist in the game and have their own unique differences, both graphically as well as the events that occur. The ultimate goal of the game is almost anything you want, whether it's obtaining every piece of clothing, furniture, insect, fish, or fossil, or paying off your house and home upgrades, or even simply checking in every day to talk to your neighbors and tend to the town. If you don't play the game for a period of time, the ground will be overtaken with weeds, your home with cockroaches, and your neighbors will worry that you forgot about them. It makes you feel like a monster. One thing that really set Animal Crossing apart is that while it is a single-player game in the sense that only one player can play at a time, there are ways to experience multiplayer. 4 humans can move into one town and take turns playing, sending each other mail and gifts, collecting and purchasing the same items, and transforming the ecosystem of the town. Alternatively, a player could also travel to a friend's town via memory card. By inserting 2 memory cards with town data into the GameCube, the player can travel to the new town and play much like they would in their own town. Differences generally include a different town layout, new villagers, different fruit trees, items in Nook store, etc. Players can choose to be helpful to their friends or destructive. It is highly recommended that you do not just chop down all of their trees like a monster. Anything that you collect in their town you can bring home and help to boost up your town. After traveling, a new villager will usually move home with you, and if your town is full, one of your neighbors will move out to make room. One of the coolest features of the game involved the Game Boy Advance link cable. By connecting a GBA to your GCN and visiting Captain at the town's dock, players could travel to the town island, which featured an exclusive villager, items, and fruit. The island could be downloaded to the GBA and used anywhere, which is how I played Animal Crossing in the car well before Wild World came out in 2005. Things that you do on the island could be transferred to your town on the GameCube and was essential for those that wanted to get ahead in the game. Another huge bonus to the game was the inclusion of 19 NES games. These appeared as NES consoles in your home and were fully playable. Balloon Fight, Clu Clu Land, Donkey Kong Jr. Math, Excite Bike, Golf, Pinball, Tennis, Wario's Woods, Baseball, Soccer, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, Clu Clu Land D, Punch-Out, Mario Bros., Ice Climber, Super Mario Bros., and Legend of Zelda were all on the disc, with the latter 4 only available via e-reader cards or cheating devices. I myself utilized the cheating devices, and my introduction to the NES was largely done via Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing was a huge surprise hit, especially when it was located to the US market by the Nintendo Treehouse. This was an incredible feat, resulting in thousands of lines of text needing to be translated, as well as new items and holidays being created in the game to reflect Western culture. Nintendo Japan was so impressed by the localized version that they introduced the new content back into the Japanese version and re-released the game as Dobutsu no Mori E Plus in 2003, where it outsold its first release. We will be discussing the E Plus version of the game more in a later episode. A sequel, Animal Crossing Wild World, was released for the Nintendo DS in 2005, bringing the full game into the portable market, as well as online, where players could connect and play over the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. A third entry, Animal Crossing City Folk, was released for the Wii in 2008. The fourth and latest main entry title, Animal Crossing New Leaf, was released for the 3DS in 2013 and brought some new mechanics to the series. I think it is good to mention here that on the day of my wedding, instead of getting ready, I played New Leaf and I regret nothing. 2 spin-off titles, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer for the 3DS and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival for the Wii U, were released in 2015, it is likely that these spin-off titles were also tech demos for the next entry into the main series, meant to showcase both the graphics capability of new home consoles, as well as technical features in the 3DS. The villager character also appears in Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, and Mario Kart 8 for Wii U. Animal Crossing was a smash hit for the GameCube, selling roughly 3 million copies and also receiving critical acclaim. This quirky communication game that started as a failed Nintendo 64 DD project has become a core franchise for Nintendo, is beloved by many, and deserves all of the praise. That's it for this week's episode of GameCube Index. Please continue to show your support by subscribing, sharing, following along on Twitter at GCNdex, and visiting GCNdex.com. Tune in next time where we'll do twice the work of an 8-back in NFL Quarterback Club 2002.